Hi everyone, I'm Isha Thapar. I'm the editor-in-chief of Scientia, and I'm here with the authors of an analysis of physician nutrition through the use of laparoscopic students. So I'm here with Arvind, Abhinav, Sowmya, and Mahita, and we're going to talk a little bit about their research. So the first question is, what was the purpose of this research study?
So as students in the laparoscopy lab, we became interested in developing a research project with our laparoscopic surgery simulator boxes. And specifically, we were interested on how physician nutrition influences surgery performance. And so we developed an experiment in which we had participants fast for 14 hours before the experiment day. And then we had them consume either carbohydrates or protein just before completing a laparoscopic pegboard exercise. And then we timed the participants in terms of how fast they completed that exercise, and then also the number of errors that they made during the exercise. And then we compared that to control day data. And we also analyzed survey data that we gave them before and after the experiment.
Great, and then what was your hypothesis?
So as Arvind said, we had two groups. We had a group that consumed the protein and one group that consumed the carbohydrate snack. And so our hypothesis was that since carbohydrate, the mechanisms involved in digesting carbohydrates, function faster, that those completing trials after consuming the carbohydrate group would, portray faster times and better performance on the laparoscopic box.
Awesome, and then what conclusions did you guys find?
So we saw that students perform better on our experiment day after 14 hours of fasting rather than control day. And this could have been that our experiment happened 4 weeks after control day, so they had time to practice and get faster. However, there was no significant difference between the average performance when it came to those who consumed protein and those who consumed carbohydrates. So we weren't able to determine the ideal macromolecule to consume right before surgery. But we also sent out surveys asking details about people's dietary habits, and we found that those who regularly consume caffeine perform better than those who don't, and also that students who don't regularly consume protein bars perform better than those who do, which was interesting.
Great, and then if you could, how would you expand this study in the future?
There were a couple of different ways that we thought about extending the study. As Sowmya was saying, we sent out survey data that showed a significant correlation with the protein consumption and the caffeine consumption. So in the future, we could design experiments where we have treatment groups with people who consume protein and no protein, or caffeine and no caffeine, and see if we're able to replicate that significance in a controlled experiment. And then with the macromolecules themselves, a couple of things we could do is we could test over a longer interval of time so that once the initial effect of the protein and carbohydrates kind of wear off, protein takes longer to be absorbed by the body. So then we could see if there is a significance in the longer term effect of each of these molecules. And also, we found several research studies that showed that protein and carbohydrates both provide different benefits for a person, and that would help them in different ways if they were doing this particular pegboard exercise. So we could introduce a third and fourth treatment group, one with a group that consumes both protein and carbohydrates, and one group that consumes neither. And I think that would give us a little bit more information about each of them.
Awesome. Is there any advice you would give to aspiring student researchers?
My advice would be to learn how to conduct research and develop scientific thinking rather than focusing on the really granular details of whatever subject you're researching. And the most important thing you can learn from research is how to design experiments and approach a problem rather than learning about some super specific random topic. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.